And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to FPL, don't panic. Yeah, back again. Decisions were made yesterday, for good or bad, possibly both. But the eagle-eyed, those that have been following me, will probably pick up pretty immediately. What the hell have you done, Desmond? I took the hits, guys. I took the hits. And this video is about justifying my decision. Start at the beginning. Let's run through the team. We talk about who's gone, who's in, who's out. Petrovic, fine. Actually, look back through Petrovic's numbers, and with Dubravka, they have been averaging me a very beautiful 5 since I brought them in together. So that's a really nice to be hitting a solid 5 out of your 2 keepers is really good. But if you actually take it back to the beginning of the season, where I made the change, I'm actually averaging 6 points per game week out of whatever goalkeeping solution I have had, which was Sanchez for a while, and then obviously moving into the Petrovic Dubravka rotation. So really happy with that. Generally the defence has been going okay, but has fallen off a little bit of a cliff in the last few weeks. Number of reasons for that. So I guess that comes to the first player that's gone, which is Byrne. He has been really ineffective the last few weeks. No DEFCON and no clean sheets, and this move to left back is clearly, he's just much more effective in that central area, central defence, and so he was one of the big reasons my averages just started to plummet. And not entirely his fault, to be fair. There's a lot of other problems which I've now resolved. So Byrne has gone, and he has become a little mini cash cow to bring in Mukiele. So that's been great. So what that has of course allowed me to also do is bring in Gabriel. So I'm getting very close to my ideal back 4. I've been talking for a long time about wanting to actually move towards this back 4 model, and sort of been playing the 4-4-2, 5-4-1, whatever, to have that flexibility. And sometimes, as I'm lined up this week, indeed a 4-3-3, whatever fit for purpose. But a lot of the time going out, not all the time, but a lot of the time going out with a back 4. As I said in one of my last videos, big points are coming from defenders. Now, I really should have moved to this double Arsenal defence a few weeks ago, when I was sorting out other issues. And 3 weeks ago, I thought, well, do I just take the bloody hits? And the simple fact is, if I had just taken the hits then, I would be in a far better position than I am now. But I didn't. However, it's done now. So yeah, we've got Timber and we've got Gabriel in. Lacroix still there. I would like him to be Munoz, but one of the lessons I've sort of took is I've done a bit of analysis over the last few days and looking at the defenders and looking at the team of the week for the last 9 weeks, the player of the week for the last 9 weeks. Defenses are dominant, absolutely dominant. The player of the week has 5 times out of the last 9 been a defender, but apart from Timber, I think Gabriel came up twice, there has been no consistency in the team of the week. It could be just absolutely anyone. And of course, as we've seen, so yeah, we are having the a Mukiele, a Rodons, Van de Ven, as it was this week. There's no way of picking them. I think you pick your poison and you show maybe just that little bit of patience. Now, I kind of would like to turn Lacroix into Munoz, and that may happen in a few weeks' time, but it's not one that's that urgent, because it is in Lacroix's locker to get on the end. Obviously it's in Crystal Palace's locker to keep some clean sheets, and their fixtures are great, and it is absolutely in Lacroix's locker to get an attacking return. And hopefully, maybe it's in this run of 4 or 5 games that we see it. So there's no immediate rush to get him out. His averages are pretty poor, but I think maybe with this run of fixtures, a bit of DEFCON, and maybe he just might get on the end of 1, maybe 2, in the coming game weeks. The fixtures are certainly there. So good defence there, I think, going out for this game week. And of course, now I have got Gabriel in, and is there much of a rank rise if Timber and Gabriel keep clean sheets? no, it'll have some influence, but I had to cover it off. I had to cover it off. It was killing me, and maybe Timber is the one. I think with the slightly lower ownership, maybe he's the one that can come up, and he has definitely got that in his locker to get the attacking return. Now, midfield as it's lined up, yeah, Semenyo, Saka, and Mbemba is obviously in for Foden. Had to say goodbye to Foden. Foden will probably, as always happens, he'll probably punish me this week. Bound to, isn't he? Bound to. But 5 game weeks in a row is just of pain. Should have learned my lesson from last year. He did exactly the same to me last year. Exactly the fucking same. Learn your lessons, Des, eh? Then up front, got Walter Meade in. A little bit of regret there, but as I look at those couple of fixtures for Newcastle, he could go well for me. So I've got a little bit of regret there that I didn't go for even a Mark Guehi. Just last on the bench. Maybe you'll get some minutes. I'm never going to use you, but all of a sudden I've got a 3-4 million in the bank to do some of the other things that I may want to do in the coming game weeks, and that could be. There's no point talking about what it could be because I can't do it now. Walter Meade is in for 2 game weeks. He's in for 2 game weeks. Then he'll go, and in the ideal world, I do roll just a couple of transfers so that by the time I get to 12, then I may then move him out to Mark Gui or something like that, a Krupi Jr. if I'm removing, because I will need to remove a Bournemouth asset. I don't think I'd want to lose Sinisi. Maybe a keeper change, maybe. Story for another day. But Margui or Krupi Jr. or maybe I just do Margui and a last on the bench. Never going to be used. Because remember, we can change everything up game week 16 when we get all those extra transfers and do like our little mini wildcards. And that's maybe at the point then that maybe I do potentially look to turn Lacroix, into a Munaz. Seriously thinking about, I could do Dewsbury Hall up to a Bruno, go double United, good fixtures, and United scoring goals. Story kind of for another day, but it's just some sort of thought that I might, in my ideal world with this team, I roll a couple, have some transfers in the bank, and then do some nice tweaking, targeting some fixtures and fixture runs, etc. And obviously players that look as though they're running into a bit of form. But that front three I think looks pretty good for this game week. So Walter Meade, Mateta, and Haaland, and they're just on the bench at the moment. Caicedo, Dewsbury Hall, and Sinisi, and that looks pretty good going forward. So I'm going to just justify the hit in the hits. 12 points. It's 12 points in hits. It's gone completely against everything I said. I know at the beginning of the season about hits, but seriously, I just should have done them 2 or 3 weeks ago. As I said, I took a big rank drop this game week just gone from 3 something down to 492. Now here's the reality of it. The 12 points effectively brings my rank down to 800k. That 12 points, that's where I would be now. If the game went live like now, boom, and we took those 12 points off, I'd have dropped to just inside 800. So I'm still well inside the 1 million. And it is so early in the season. It is so early in this season. There were just so many dodgy spots in my team, and you know what? I just wanted it sorted. I just needed it sorted, and I'm really, really happy with this. I actually threw it into FPL Hub, and it's the first time it's given me 100% rating all season. And I still think there are improvements that I would like to do to this squad even now. But I think minus 12 is enough. It's enough for one day, and hopefully that's the last of that shite for the rest of the season. But it's looking good, and it's looking good over the next, across 11, 12, 13, 14, and particularly, as I say, when I do get to that sort of, say maybe about game week 12, 13, I start to do some more tweaks, maybe bring in a Liverpool asset. I would imagine, as I said, Dewsbury Hall could well go up to a Gapco maybe. A lot to play with, particularly if I do the take Walter Meade out after the next couple of game weeks, where he has got some good fixtures, and I do fancy he'll get an attacking return or two, and then just downgrade him. 3.5 million or so, I think, in the bank. 3.5, 4 million. Lovely. And then we can start to really upgrade a few of the other areas as well, or just, as I say, move players out if I'm not getting what I anticipate getting out of them. But fingers crossed that this will get things back on track after last week's disaster. Don't mind dropping to 800. I mean, when in game week 4 or 5, I think when I was down in about 3 million, I thought, yeah, if I could just get into the top 1 million by the end of game week 10, that's fine. That's kind of where you want to be, and there's a long season ahead, and we've got lots of days that we can do lots of lovely stuff with and work things out and work out where we're going. I'll take it. I'll take it. It's not ideal to take the minus 12. I'm obviously not going to even pretend about that, but I think as a team, I think that looks pretty strong. A little bit template-ish for my liking, but sometimes you gotta just not. There are templates you shouldn't try and fight against, and one of those templates is absolutely that bloody Arsenal defence at the moment. You've got to cover it off. You have to cover it off. So right, how does that look in terms of improvements in terms of my spreadsheet? Let me just get this out of the way. We'll get that up there. There's still a couple of problems with this, but I kind of have worked out ways to resolve it going forward. Hopefully I'll just make myself a wee bit smaller there, guys, so we can get that as nice and large as we can. Sorry, very fiddly. Come on, here we go. Sorry, this makes it a wee bit smaller again. Okay, that's what it looks like in the spreadsheet. It's obviously helped things. There's a few things here I don't think it's showing me a projection of 69 to 73 points without captaincy is what I'll do. Well, I will take that, but bite your hand off of that, especially if there is captaincy numbers on top of that. If I could hit an 80, 82, that would be the joy. At least then I could, yeah, it sort of justifies the hit. You know, it really would be awesome, obviously, to see a Timber, you know, or a Gabriel, or Mbemo, or Voltamide, or Machielli coming with a 12-point hit. 12-point score to feel like I've justified the hit. That's probably not going to happen. That's the reality of this game. And within those numbers, you know, it's showing, you know, if we look at sort of game week 5, you know, a floor of a 52. Game week 6, still fairly low floor there of 56. But 7 and 8, nice high ceilings of 82, 93, and even game week 9, because bear in mind these numbers are without captaincy, 61. So hopefully, given that some of those fixtures are good, there's a few not so splash fixtures in there. I've got some menu in there moments at the moment with City away. Don't mind it. I don't mind it. I don't think City's defence is that flashy. I think it might be the sort of game that could suit some menu. So fingers crossed. Don't hold out too much hope for a goalkeeping clean sheet. Got Petrovic in there. I think it feels like there's more possibility. I could be wrong. Feels like there's more possibility of him picking up a few save points there. I think I need to look at the odds stats on this. I think City will tend to get more savable shots on target, and Arsenal will tend to have less shots but less savable on target. Does that make sense? Maybe, don't know. So maybe there's just a chance that he might just pick up that 3 or 4 pointer, even if he does concede a goal or two. We'll see. Just have to. It's almost a toss of a coin, really. Timber, Lacroix, Machielli, Gabriel. I mean, it's good. I mean, if we look at you know, as a combination, and I don't think any, you know, if it, obviously we've got very high numbers there from Gabriel, but the way he's gone, would you bet against a clean sheet? A clean sheet, DEFCON. I think I've worked out a bit now, because was this thing with no one expected Gabriel, no one, based on last season, expected Gabriel to be coming anywhere near to DEFCON, and I think that's really happening now that he's getting that under his belt. Just simply because the game has changed, you know, defending set pieces and getting heads on the ball, much more of a long ball game now. So I think he's just picking up a lot of cheap defensive bonuses and just ticks away. And is he a DEFCON king? No, but picking it up about every 1 in 3 now. You add some of that on with a clean sheet and you get that attacking return. It's bang, isn't it? But you know, as a unit now, that defense as it's going out, you know, it's getting back more on, you know, more on track to you know, getting a really strong average. Lacroix is the Acquires the lowest in there, but it's a reasonable enough fixture, I think, against Brentford. So I'd be hopeful we'll get a 4 points out of him, and then hopefully between Timber and Gabriel, clean sheets, and Mukiele, we'll see what happens. Everton at home, good fixture, good fixture. What else in there? Yeah, it's just going to be what it's going to be, isn't it? Really, Semenyo, he's falling off a little bit. So although his average is still showing 7.4, a little bit of concern there, and obviously a tricky fixture coming up with City away, Villa away. It's tricky enough, and then some nice fixtures after that. But yeah, it's he had that little assist, I guess, in 8, nothing in 9. He had his big haul in 7. 6, I think he did get a goal, didn't he? But in 5, it was just DEFCON. I think that was the DEFCON week, I think, where he didn't actually get a return, but he got a 5. So it's still a very healthy average, but just keeping an eye on him at the moment. Still a fabulous player, so I'm sure that'll come right. Saka is one that's a little bit interesting, although I do feel the 7-pointer should be coming out of Saka. It is not beyond the realms of possibility that that I change him to Rice at some point for that more consistency. 90 minutes, Rice is on set pieces, and again it does free up a chunk of money, and it still gives me a really good Arsenal asset, in my opinion. And it's not beyond the realms that maybe somewhere around 12, 13, 14 that I make that change. And Mbomo is just a man in form. On a 7-point average now, he's starting to hit a really good hot streak, and I think the fixture it's kind of a toss-up between Bruno, I think, and Mbomo as to who's going to get the most points. I think Mbomo is not obviously, but I think he's going to get more attacking returns from open play. But of course, we do know with Bruno that all he needs is an assist, and then all of a sudden he's like into the 3 bonus, and he may get a couple of DEFCON as well. 1 million cheaper, looking superb, and really exciting to watch when he's in your team. So looking forward to seeing how that moves forward. But I do not rule out having Bruno in about 3 game weeks, obviously as things develop. And of course Mbumo will be going to AFCON, and how is that going to affect United when Mbumo does go to AFCON, and does Bruno become a more valuable asset then? Weirdly, even though I think United will be a worse team, but we revert back to the United where relying on Bruno for everything, where he's carrying the whole team on his shoulders, whereas at the moment it's a bit more spread around, isn't it? Cunha and Mbumo, other players chipping in, bloody Casemiro. It just seems there's a better balance throughout the team at the moment for players that are going to step up rather than relying on Bruno all the time. But once we do lose Ahmad and Mbumo and a few others to AFCON, will Bruno be carrying the team on his shoulders again? I suspect so. Yeah, Mateta, great, that run of fixtures. It could be make hay time. He will be missing, he's going to get 5 or 6 chances a game, and he's probably going to miss 2 or 3, but I don't care as long as he gets 1 or 2. Voltamide, West Ham and Brentford both concede goals. Brentford good at home, to be fair, and then 12 we'll move him out, I think, maybe for City at home. I'll have a couple of transfers, and we'll start to really bolster up that midfield again, and maybe 1 or 2 areas in defence if I do decide to bring Lacroix up to Munoz. No panic on that one. And Haaland will be captain. Bournemouth home. I think Bournemouth are brilliant. They certainly won't be turned over. I think there's going to be goals in that game. Certainly hope so, with Semenyo being there as well. But I do think City will score 2 or 3 in that. And I know I've got Petrovic in goals, but hopefully he'll make 6 or 7 saves, balance it out a little bit. So he will have the captain's armband. A little bit of a temptation, a little bit. I don't think I'll go there. I don't think I'm brave enough. But would anyone be brave enough to captain Gabriel? It's almost a guaranteed 8-pointer, isn't it? But yeah, it's got to be Haaland, really. We'll look at potential Gabriel captaincies. Maybe game week 12. Yeah, maybe game week 12. Maybe. We'll see how this progresses. Anyway, that's the team. Dubravka, Caicedo, Sinisi, Dewsbury Hall on the bench. And as I say, somewhere around 12, 13, 14. I think it'll be Caicedo and Dewsbury Hall likely to receive significant upgrades when I move Automide down to Marquis or someone like that. That's it, guys. It's done. Don't castigate me. I know. Minus 12. I just do think, can we call it a swap instead of a hit? A strategic worsening of points. So I am technically down to 800,000 now. So let's hope now across 10 to 15. I think the target has got to be because I try and set myself a target every 5 game weeks or so. So I know there's 6 fixtures there, but I think the target now 10 to 15 is that by 15 to try and be in that top 250k, and then of course with those 5 transfers we've got a chance for a little reset, a little mini wild card, and then hopefully upwards and onwards. But for now, I'm actually glad I did it. I feel as though okay, the squad's sorted a bit now. Right, let's focus. So we've had that Des. Now we're going to get down to focus, Des. Honest. Take care. Have fun. Play your own game. Don't panic. I'll catch up with you over the game week. Not too far away now. See you soon. Bye bye.